Hey, it's Jeff Cannata here with another NLB Mini. As many of you know, one of my guilty pleasures is professional wrestling, specifically the WWE's particular brand of professional wrestling. And we had the biggest event of their year this weekend, Wrestlemania. It was a big Wrestlemania. It was the 30th Wrestlemania. And so there was a lot of pressure for WWE to bring it. So I wanted to talk about, I watch WrestleMania every year. One of my favorite things to do, get together with a bunch of guys and watch WrestleMania. But WrestleMania is always, I think you need to talk about it in conjunction with the Raw episode that happens the next Monday night. So the Raw that happened last night and WrestleMania, I think, combined to sort of end their season, their year of entertainment, sports entertainment storylines, and start the new one. So let's talk about WrestleMania first. Last year's WrestleMania, I thought, was pretty disappointing show, but this year was really, really entertaining. I loved it. It had big surprises. It had some fantastic matches, and it started with real fan service, especially for somebody like me who, loved the WWE through the 80s and 90s. You had the three biggest stars the company had over those decades: Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and The Rock, all in the ring at the same time, all doing their catchphrases. Hogan starting things off by messing up the name of the place they were at, but then those guys, being the professionals that they are, turning that into a running gag. It was just fun. It set the tone of the entire event as being really special and really exciting. It's awesome to see those guys on the microphone because they have such awesome mic skills. It was almost like this escalation of mic skills. You have Hogan, who's it was okay, but fun nostalgia, and then you have Austin, who's pretty awesome, and then you have The Rock, who's kind of the best mic guy in the history of the company. So I was already popping like a mark. It was fantastic to watch and fun, and it really amped up the excitement level for the whole event. And then starting things off with what, usually the first match is the curtain jerker. It's usually not a great match. This WrestleMania, they started things off with one of the best matches of the night, Daniel Bryan versus Triple H. And it was an entertaining match. It was great to see Triple H back doing what he does really, really well, even if he's a little older now. And Daniel Bryan is such a fresh, exciting direction for the company. More on that later. But to see Triple H put Daniel Bryan over in the center of the ring, 1, 2, 3, no funny stuff, no controversy, just putting the guy over, doing the job. I really was surprised. I thought there was going to be some angle where Triple H got screwed, but no. Daniel Bryan went over clean, setting him up as this wonderful underdog that was going to have another match later in the night. Great, great match. The Battle Royale, I thought, was entertaining. Those are really difficult matches to make fun because they're so chaotic and can be very clumsy and hard to follow sometimes. Kofi Kingston's amazing fall and keeping his feet on the stairs really was the highlight of that match. So much fun. And having the Big Show get body slammed over the top rope by Cesaro. Really cool ending. It was great. I think the first half of this WrestleMania, which is in contrast to almost every WrestleMania, the first half was better than the second half. It was super solid. I mean, there were some lowlights for me. The John Cena match, I like the psychology of it. I love the fact that the idea of him, the only way to make John Cena a babyface is to put him against pure evil. And I like him sort of the psychological, is he or isn't he going to turn? It's fun, but the match itself wasn't great for me. But I think it's an interesting angle, and I'm glad they're sticking with it. What else was there? Oh, we had the tag teams. That was all right. The Divas match is always they do what they can. It's always a bathroom break for me. Of course, the big thing you have to talk about is The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. I'm a big Brock Lesnar fan. I like the guy. I liked him in UFC. I liked him when he first showed up in the WWE. A lot of people don't like him because he doesn't really have mic skills, but that's why they stick him with Paul Heyman, who is the best. It wasn't a great match. It really wasn't. I kept telling everybody in the room that I was watching with that this was going to be the match of the night because Undertaker's matches almost always are the best match in WrestleMania. The guy can bring it. But evidently, it seems to me that he got a concussion, or it seems to be the report, and it doesn't seem to be a work. It seems to be the truth that he got a concussion, so he was out of it. The match was not fun to watch, but my goodness, that ending. to break the streak. There's a lot of people who are upset that Brock Lesnar's the guy to break the streak. I don't think Brock is the best candidate, but watching Raw last night, it was worth breaking the streak with Brock Lesnar just for Paul Heyman's monologue. That was so awesome. Heyman turning it into all these people are the many. Brock is the one in 21-1. He's the one. The guy is a master on the mic. I loved watching it. It was all worth it for that moment. And it was all worth it for the shock. Like the fact that the one thing that we all went into WrestleMania feeling certain about is the one thing that didn't happen. It makes anything possible. It keeps people guessing. It adds excitement. It got everybody talking. I think it's incredible, and I think it was. It seems to me, knowing very little but reading a lot, that it was Undertaker's decision. And I think the guy, it's a very egoless, selfless thing to do to give up that streak, and it certainly created one of the most memorable moments in WWE history, and all those shots of the crowd. That's how I looked sitting and watching just standing up, hands on face, completely flabbergasted at what happened. I think that's super cool. And the idea that really anything can happen is still there. It's an exciting time for WWE, and I think a lot of that has to do with what they're doing with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan winning the match at the end, that triple threat match. I'm not a huge fan of Batista or Randy Orton, but I thought it was a solid match. It was really fun. And the fact that they are all in, the WWE seems all in on Daniel Bryan is awesome to me, especially with what we saw from Raw last night. Starting the show with a full-on Daniel Bryan package, making him the new face of the company, positioning him as this David versus Goliath, this underdog story. It's awesome. And the fact that it was such a hot crowd in New Orleans at Raw, and they were all in on yes, 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 on the you deserve it chant. The you deserve it chant and the yesing and that moment at the beginning of Raw is why I love professional wrestling. That moment is pure interaction with an audience speaking in one voice to a character, to an actor, to a piece of entertainment. And that dialogue, that in the moment, this is happening right now, anything can happen because we are listening to the audience and the audience is listening to what's happening, and it's a give and take. There's nothing like that. There's nothing like that. I mean, I love doing live theater because it feels like a give and take, but this is a give and take times 1,000 because it's quite literally a give and take. He's talking to them. They are responding back in one voice. They help decide storylines because of how they take to certain characters. And as much as I loved the Attitude Era of WWE with Stone Cold and The Rock and Mick Foley and all those guys in the late 90s, I think we're at a really exciting time because I think this new era, if they stick with Daniel Bryan and these types of guys, it's really back to, instead of attitude and irony and cynicism and Stone Cold being this, flipping the bird and drinking beer and being that guy, I feel like we're back to being sort of good and wholesome and yeah, I'm a sucker for that stuff. I dig that stuff. I think that is the new counterculture. I think it's so easy to be cynical and so easy to be ironic now, and everybody's doing it, that what is really punk rock, what is really subversive is being genuine and wholesome and good and a positive message. And this yes, yes, yes is positivity. It's this positive message. It's like, yeah, embrace life, be good, do what you can. You're a small guy, but you can take on the big dudes. And I think that is reflected, society's sort of cultural shifts are often reflected in the WWE, you have to admit it. And I'm encouraged that seems to be the zeitgeist right now. And I love the fact, I like this guy. He seems to be a genuine dude. I root for him. I like seeing him triumph. I think positioning Triple H and Stephanie as the Authority is really smart. And it's a different thing than Stone Cold versus Vince McMahon. It's not screw your boss. It's the little guy fighting the oppression of the man, which is very much, with this whole NSA thing, all the sort of cultural, the zeitgeist is in its favor, and it's fun. It's a fun time to watch, and I think they're booking the shows really smartly and doing a lot of really cool stuff. So I dug it. I thought WrestleMania 30 was great. I thought Raw last night was fantastic, and I'm back. So forgive the love of professional wrestling, but it is cool if you can get over some of the cheesiness and crassness and ridiculousness that goes along with it. It's a fun form of entertainment. All right, more video games and movies and TV shows later in the week. Subscribe and like us on YouTube, and I appreciate you watching.